Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Spirit and Strategy, the business growth podcast for spiritual entrepreneurs. I am your host, Lola, also known as the Reality Priestess. I am a business growth strategist, I'm a spiritual teacher, and I'm here to talk about all of the things in terms of growing your business with strategy, energetic, spirituality. So let's just get into it today. We are talking about how to be fully booked and profitable in your spiritual business when you have limited energetic capacity. And there are a couple of reasons why I wanted to talk about this topic. One, I've had a number of people come to me to talk about how do they scale their businesses, scaling. How do I scale, right? And one of the really interesting things that I have noticed is that scaling is a word that I think people do not understand. So to me, there is absolutely a distinction between scaling and being fully booked, right? So scaling is what happens when you are already fully booked and you are trying to understand, how do I make more money when I do not have any more time? Yeah. So before you think about scaling, you really want to think about how do you become fully booked? And that's what I want to talk about this today. The other reason is I posted something on Threads which got so much traction. It was one of those posts where I knew I should post it, but I also didn't think it would get the reaction that it did because a part of me felt it was sort of obvious. Anyway, I posted that I am not really aware of many spiritual practitioners who can work a 40-hour week, not because they're lazy or don't have the time, but because they do not have the energetic capacity, right? They're working one-on-one with people, they're doing energy work, they're doing readings. All of these things are energetically expensive, right? And so we don't always have the time, the space rather, the energy to do more than, on average, I would say 15 hours a week. Some people less and some people much more. And it got so much traction. I then talked about, well, if you are only working 15 hours a week, how much are you earning if you are doing a per hour model, as in you are charging people per hour roughly? How much will you earn at different price points, right? So $80 gets you like 57K, something like that. And on and on and on, right? So that post got a lot of traction and it made me realize that most people really don't know that they need to focus on being fully booked. They need to focus on being fully booked, right? So I say all of that to say, in this podcast today, I'm going to be talking about why it's important to be fully booked. Yeah. I'm going to talk about what do we really mean by that, and then what are some steps that you need to take in order to have a fully booked spiritual business. Yeah. So firstly, why is it important to be fully booked, right? Why are we focusing on that as a goal? Yeah. And the first one is going to be really obvious, the first reason why, and that is because you need to reach your financial goals. And really what we're talking about here is you need to understand what fully booked means to you, which we'll come on to, and you need to understand what to price your offer at, and you need to understand your personal expenses. Yeah, you need to know what it's going to take for you to live, what you're targeting. It really, really surprises me still, and I don't know why, to this day, the number of clients that I have that have just never sat down and worked out, well, how much money do you need? How much money do you need? That has to be your starting point, understanding what you need, and then layering on top of it the things that you want, etc., right? But you need to know what you need in order to set proper financial goals in terms of what you want your business to deliver for you, right? So the other piece of why it's important to be fully booked is because for most of us, our spiritual business is a calling. At least this is the kind of people that I'm speaking to, because I'm working in the realm of destiny, right? And our calling. We're not just doing this because it's a job. You know, there are deeper reasons why we're doing this. So being fully booked according to your energetic capacity is really a validation of your impact and the fact that you are helping people. You know, you want to be in demand because that is validation that you are in service, right? And that what you are serving is valuable to people because they're paying for it. And you may even have built up a wait list, right? And so the third reason why this is important is back to what I was saying earlier about scaling, is being fully booked is a foundation for scaling your business. If you have goals and ambitions to be a leader in this space, to impact thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people, the only way that you're going to do that is by first being fully booked. Yeah? So it's a foundation for greater ambitions and goals, right? So let's talk about now what it means to be fully booked. And this is something that I really had to sit with for myself when I was thinking about my own businesses, right, in terms of how much I wanted to work, how much one-to-one work I wanted to do with people. And I really love one-to-one work, right? It's the foundation of my business. I only do VIP days at the moment. I have some mentorship, but everything is one-to-one, right? And I sat down, like I do with my corporate clients, and mapped out what my capacity was, right, in terms of time and hours, and then how did I like to work, right? How did I like to work? And for me, I really like to only be client-facing about 3 days a week. And then the other 2 days, I like for me to work on my business, right, and to do other things. So where I got to was I've only got a certain number of hours where I feel comfortable to be one-to-one with people. And also, for me, you know, I am a deep thinker, I'm a claircognizant, I'm a channeler, right? So that really requires me to have a lot of time in deep silence, meditation, etc. And I know this is the case for a lot of spiritual practitioners as well. So I ended up coming to a number of hours, right, that represented my energetic capacity. So fully booked for me and for all of you is the number of clients you can take on given your energy. So for some of you that might be 15 hours, right, which I think is the average, and that's sort of, I would say, near where I would be. For some of you, that's going to be 20 hours, 30 hours, 50 hours, maybe not 50, right? But it could be 5. And so that is what fully booked is going to mean then for you. It's a deeply, deeply personal thing. And so one of the things I do with my clients on the VIP day is really understand for them what is their energetic capacity, taking into account multiple factors, right? So the other piece of this is it's all very well and good knowing what your energetic capacity is, but then you also need a price, an average price or rate per hour that you are essentially working with people with, right? So is that $50 an hour? Is it $200 an hour, right? And even if you've got different offers that are all priced slightly differently, that number is important because you know that if you are working 50, you know, you're charging $50 an hour and you're working 2,000 hours in a year, then that is going to translate to $100,000 a year, right? So that is what fully booked means. It's understanding your energetic capacity in terms of time, and it's understanding your rate per hour. Okay, so once you have that, that is going to tell you what your earning potential is. Yeah, what your earning capacity is for the year. You take those two numbers, your capacity and your rate per hour, and you work out what your goal, well, what your capacity is. Yeah. So why is that important? It's important because if you have a goal of making $100,000 in a year, let's say, right, the magic 6-figure number everyone likes to talk about, if that is your goal and you only charge $25 an hour and you only have an energetic capacity of 10 hours a week, you are not going to meet your goal. You don't have the capacity to even reach that goal. Hopefully what I'm saying makes sense. So let's talk about now what the steps are to becoming fully booked, right? To becoming fully booked. So step one is really getting clarity on what you are going to offer, what you're going to offer. And this is important for a number of reasons, right? You want to be known for something. You don't want to be stressing yourself out all of the time. And you don't want to be switching all of the time between different offers, because if you're a solopreneur, you don't have the time and you need to manage that very limited energy that you have. So I personally recommend that clients have one main offer, one signature offer, or one destiny offer that they're known for, that they can deliver easily, and that's going to take them to their goal. More offers doesn't mean more clients, so getting really clear on one offer is really going to make a difference to maximizing the energetic capacity that you have. The other piece, step number 2, is getting really clear on one client persona. Who is your destiny client? What is your niche, right? I'm going to talk about niching a bit more and the energetics around niching in another episode. But for me, getting really clear on your client persona is understanding, yes, the demographics of the person, but more importantly, what's the unique problem that they all have in common that your offer is designed to solve. And so it's important to niche, right, and get really clear on who your offer is for. Who is it for? The third piece you want to get real clarity on is a repeatable sales process. One repeatable sales process. You want to know, where do your clients come from and how do you get more of them? Right? You just need one process. If you're a solopreneur, still trying to make your first six figures, right, with your spiritual business, you just need one process. So you want to understand how people find you, what's your traffic source, and you need potentially somewhere where you nurture them, potentially, and then you need a way to convert them. So that could be a sales call, that could be in your DMs, that could be your website, right? People can just book and buy through a sales page, etc. But you need a way for people to convert, to buy, to pay you. And if you're using social media, I think another part of this is you don't need multiple platforms, right? I have built a very successful business just on Threads and email, right? And now I'm expanding, introducing the podcast for reasons I explained in the previous episode. But you really don't need multiple platforms. You just need one, and you need to take it seriously, and you need to show up. And what do you need to show up with? Your one core message. So this is the fourth thing that you need if you want to have a fully booked business, is one core message. Your reason why people should book with you. Your differentiator, right? It's the thing that makes you distinct from everybody else. It's your skill set. It's the reason why you do all of this. And it's the transformation that you give people. So this is something that we do, again, in the Destiny offer, but also if you already have an offer, I have a VIP day called the Destiny Message, which is being sold kind of behind the scenes at the moment. We don't have a sales page, but it's the same thing. And it's going really, really deep on your movement, your mission, and your message, right? So that you can convert clients really just on your content, okay? So those are the 4 things that you need. You need clarity on your one offer, clarity on your one client persona, clarity on your one repeatable sales process, and clarity on your core message, right? And in future episodes, I think I'll go into a bit more detail on some of those things. But for most spiritual entrepreneurs that I tend to work with, they are missing at least a couple of these. I like to start with the offer because it makes it really, really clear in terms of the rest of your strategy, right? But if you already have an offer, it might be that you need to work more directly on either your sales process or your message or your niche. Yeah. So I hope that was helpful for you, just to give you a little sense of like some of the things that you need to think about if you want to be fully booked, but to really reinforce the fact that being fully booked is the goal, is the first goal that you want to have based on your energetic capacity, right? So see you in the next one. Stay strategic, stay aligned.